Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Jadelyn, and I have the incredible honor of having the CEO of Doctors Without Borders, Tirana Hassan, here with me today. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, Jadelyn. How are you?
I'm extremely excited to be here and get to hear all of your experience and the answers to these questions that I have for you. So first, I do want to congratulate you on your new role as the CEO of MSF, but I know that this isn't your first time working with the organization. Your work with MSF dates all the way back to 2007. And so tell me a little bit more about your time with MSF, both in your current role and in your previous roles.
So I am the CEO of MSF USA here in the US, which is an extraordinary honor to have a role like this. And in MSF USA, we're not just an organization working, in the US. Actually, we do very little in the US. We did some during COVID, for example, and a few things here and there. But for the most part, we're part of a wider global network of MSFs all over the world. We work in over 75 countries. We have around 75,000 staff around the world who are delivering life-saving medical assistance into communities, serving our patients in times of conflict and crisis and natural disasters. And here in the US, we have an operation where we are helping to take personnel. Some of them are medical, some of them are logisticians. We've even got health promoters and trainers. We even send out lawyers sometimes.
Oh, wow.
And those are the folks who are going out to our medical operations all over the world. But before I got here, I was in Somalia.
Oh, really?
I've worked a lot of places, but I worked with Doctors Without Borders in Somalia, and it was probably one of the most transformative professional experiences of my life. Somalia is a pretty difficult place to work. It's a beautiful country with extraordinary people, but it has a history that has been racked with instability and famine and drought. And I was working there at a time where there was extraordinary instability. And so as a result, aid organizations and actually the infrastructure in the country was just crumbling. And so I had the privileged position of working with teams where we were providing medical care, including hospitals and surgical care, to malnutrition clinics, to maternal health, so literally delivering babies. And my colleagues, most of whom were Somali and from these communities, were an absolute inspiration.
That's incredible. It really shows the power of what MSF can do in those situations. That's really, really interesting. So speaking of initiatives and things like that, something that you've highlighted in some press releases is that you are currently working on building sustainable funding for MSF's work. What right now does that look like, and how do fundraising initiatives like what we do at Summer Games Done Quick factor into that sustainable funding?
That is an excellent question. All of the images you see of MSF in projects running field hospitals or, mobile clinics for the people that can't actually get to a clinic, we sometimes just set up a car and drive around, and we can set up a clinic out of a few small plastic tubs with the critical sort of materials that we need and the right people. We can't do that without that sort of sustainable and long-term funding that we get from initiatives like this, from your community who have been supporting our work. Because there's one thing that, by having individuals give to us and not governments, because we don't take any government money. So there's no government money that is spent by MSF. So we rely 100% on everyday people. Some people give us $5. Some people come together as a community, as we're seeing now, to support us, and that money is what we call unrestricted. So that means that whenever there is the most need, we can channel those resources to those communities. We can make sure that the nutritional food supplements get to the children who are suffering from malnutrition. We can make sure that the inflatable hospitals, literally we have hospitals that have been designed for MSF that our logisticians can put on a plane and engineers have designed, and so we can start up in the middle of the desert by inflating a hospital. And that is all possible because of the unrestricted funding and the independent funding. And it's because of that MSF is able to work in some of the most difficult places in the world, because we are completely independent. We are neutral and we are completely impartial. So we don't take sides in a conflict. So we really do find ourselves working at the pointiest end of the stick sometimes. And the other thing of why the sustainable funding is so important for us is that it means that in a time of a new crisis, we're not sitting here going, oh man, how are we going to respond to this? We actually know we have the resources, we're going to deploy them. So instead of waiting for 3 weeks for us to mobilize resources, we already know that we can be on the ground. We have 50 plus years of expertise to know how to do it, and because of the trust that our supporters and your community is putting in us. And this sort of support allows us to be in the moment when people need us most.
This is a hard question, but I'm interested to see what you say, because you've brought so much information and interesting things to the table. So in the past year, we've seen the humanitarian landscape change radically, and the support for life-saving initiatives have been gutted by the US government and globally. So what challenges is MSF facing, and how has this change influenced the landscape of MSF's work?
Where to begin? How long have you got? We're definitely beginning to see the sort of downstream effects of the aid cuts. And yes, for sure, the USAID cuts had a very dramatic effect. But the cuts, these governments all over the world have been walking back from their funding commitments to international global health and to humanitarian action. And so from one day to the next, actually, we found ourselves sometimes being the only organization around. The one day to the next, funding was just cut to many of our peer organizations, where they had to close their clinics. Or there were no longer food distributions. And so one of the most significant impacts that we've seen from the aid cuts has been rises in child malnutrition.
Oh.
Because, in many conflicts and many of the places that we work, these are food insecure places. In conflict, people are displaced. They rely on humanitarian food distributions. In non-conflict areas, when we're talking about droughts in places like Mali and Burkina Faso, and Somalia, there have been cycles of drought. And so people have been relying on food distributions there too. All of a sudden that just stopped, or they were reduced significantly. And what that meant was families then were forced to break up the minimum rations to be able to feed 5 children. So what was meant for 2 children or 3 children is now feeding 5 or 6. And, then obviously that leads to malnutrition. We see mothers bringing their children into our clinics, and we can see that they have severe malnutrition. We can give them supplemental food. We've also seen things like the vaccination schedules. So children were getting vaccines. We were eradicating measles. And when those vaccines were no longer being distributed, or there weren't the sort of health partners to be able to do the vaccinations, then we've seen an increase in children beginning to present, and adults actually, with preventable diseases like measles. So we're definitely seeing the impacts. And then when you talk about actual conflicts like Sudan, it's a real challenge. There just aren't as many humanitarian actors on the ground who are able to deliver assistance to the communities who need them, who are surviving through a very brutal war. And they not only need medical assistance, but they need shelter. They need food distributions, and the cuts have meant that those basic services just aren't there. And it really has. We have been more and more seen how decisions that are taken in DC or in Brussels or in Geneva or Paris have real life consequences, and sometimes fatal consequences in the places that need it most.
Before we get to the very end of this, and this is a very tumultuous time, given the current political and economic environment, and you talked about that MSF is coming home. So why now did you decide to take this role?
I didn't expect that question. It's a really good question, actually, and I don't have a canned answer to it. So you'll get what comes from the heart. The reality is that I have worked around the world for a very long time. And I have also begun to see increasingly like these cycles of violence, and there was just a level of human suffering in the world that felt unacceptable. I think it's unacceptable. It's not a me thing. I think it's unacceptable to my thousands of colleagues all over the world. And I've tried to come at the problem from, to try and make a contribution to relieve human suffering, to ensure that people are able to access, their basic freedoms and have a level of dignity that we're all entitled to, no matter where we live or what our gender is or what our ethnicity is. And I keep coming back to that at MSF. I have always felt that what we told communities we were going to do, we do. We deliver it. If we're going to deliver life-saving medical assistance, we're going to do everything in our power to get that to them. We are going to do everything in our power to be able to relieve suffering. We aren't spending our time sort of on the, trying to dictate about what the outcome of this war is, but we will meet the needs of the people. And I think in this moment in the world where everything feels like it is spinning out of control, where you think like, what can I do about it? There is. You don't have to be the person who gets on a plane, puts on this t-shirt and, starts screening people with Ebola to see if they have a fever. You can be the person that can read the MSF press releases, check out the website, listen to the podcast, be informed, talk to your friends about it. Don't let the stories of what is happening there disappear. Acknowledging what is happening to people, having those conversations is a form of restoring dignity in a way. And also just reconnecting with our common humanity. That's what this time is doing to us. It makes us feel like we're so distant from, what makes us all human. And I think that for us at MSF, we do that through the work that we do. I think for the people that support MSF, you are the facilitators of that work, but I think we can all do things in our own lives that are all part of the same purpose.
I know that I've learned a lot today, and I'm really appreciative of your time. And I hope all of you also learned something. And, if you feel motivated, please donate, because these stories are incredible, and MSF does have real impact on the world. And I love hearing that it does deliver and it does make a difference, and that we don't have to be the ones on the ground, but just our donations are helping make a difference in the world. So thank you, Tirana, so much for your time, and for everyone at home, I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.